Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back from a fan's eye view. I'm Justin, and today we're going to be starting this new series called View of the Vikings. It's going to be a weekly series once the season starts. After every game, I'm going to try and hop on and record my thoughts right away, but the preseason ended yesterday, and I'm just going to try and quickly get on here and give a couple thoughts. I'm not going to do any I'm not going to do a roster prediction or a schedule prediction yet. I have them going 13-4, games or whatever. A couple of caveats in there, but yeah, 13-4. And, just right away, immediately after watching the preseason, I can say this: they need to sign someone on the offensive line. It did not look good. Obviously, the edges in Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw are very good, but the interior line was not good last year, and it doesn't look like they will be this year. They got blown up by the Tennessee Titans, who are not good. Ed Ingram does not look very good. He wasn't good last year. He stepped on Kirk Cousins' foot multiple times, and he does not look very good so far this year. Ezra Cleveland could progress into someone good. He was a good tackle. Not really supposed to be a guard, but here he is trying to learn it. And Garrett Bradbury is who Garrett Bradbury always has been. He's a quick, athletic center, but he's not very good against these big guys that push him around. So them not making any adjustments to the interior line is kind of worrisome, especially because that was a huge problem last year, and arguably, aside from the defense, the reason they lost in the playoffs. So Dalton Risner going into the facility and leaving without a contract is insane to me, and hopefully they sign him or at least someone before the season begins. Obviously, I think that Blake Brandel gives a little bit of leeway because he's probably better than Ed Ingram, and if Ed Ingram struggles at the start of the year, I'm sure Brandel will come in pretty quickly, but I don't want to leave it up to Blake Brandel. I'd rather sign someone like Risner or make a trade or something for an interior lineman. It's telling they haven't yet. It's worrisome for the season because that's, it's not a good interior. So when you have an already unproven running back and then a quarterback that gets hit more than anyone else last year, not signing a new lineman is a little worrisome. So we'll see how that works out for the Vikings. Moving on, though, another topic of question, the defense, more specifically the secondary. Didn't do a lot this preseason to, calm any fans down. Obviously, you didn't see Byron Murphy Jr. play or Harrison Smith. We kind of know what they're doing, though. Murphy looked really good in the joint practices. Andrew Booth didn't look very good. That might be a miss in the draft. It's hard to say. He hasn't played a ton. He's been hurt. But it's his time to shine, and it doesn't look like he's going to be a starter. He might even be a cut. It's kind of questionable. If they cut him, it'd be pretty weird, but it's not like it'd be, oh my gosh, what, right? Like it's something that might happen. Lewisine looked fine. His tackling left a bit to be desired, and that was a big question people had, like, oh, his tackling didn't look very good. Is he going to be good? But, keep in mind, this guy broke his leg less than a year ago, and is already back to playing and tackling. So, once you get an injury like that, it's going to take a little bit to get back into the flow of it. He doesn't want to hurt himself again, which I don't think will be a problem, but it's in his mind. I'm sure as the season goes on, he'll get used to the hits and stuff and be more willing to lay the boom down. I mean, his nose for the ball was very good. He was there. He was on top of things. He was, in the middle of everything. Just couldn't quite make the tackles. So that was a little bit disheartening. Hopefully that changes. But yeah, the secondary isn't very deep at all. You got Byron Murphy and Caleb Evans, the two, I don't want to say proven corners, but they're the two best options you got. Andrew Booth is we'll see. Mekhi Blackman, again, we'll see. 11's a sweet number for a cornerback, though, I will say. So, the secondary leaves a little bit to be desired. I wouldn't mind a signing. They have a lot of semi-decent guys, like a C secondary, but that's not very good. Obviously, Brian Flores' defense lends itself to more defensive line and linebackers than secondary members. It definitely helps to have someone that can cover, but they don't have to cover for very long in this scheme. That's the idea anyway. So hopefully those guys can, adapt, or maybe Flores will have those starters looking really good. That remains to be seen. But any defense should be better than last year's, right? So, hey, here's hoping. Also, Jay Ward was a fringe guy, but I think he's made the team after his last performance. He had a great blitz, and he strip sack, knocked the ball out, scooped it up, gave the Vikings a great field position. So Jay Ward, I think, will make the team over Jackson, honestly. Jackson might go to the practice squad, and Jay Ward will be one of the guys we keep on, probably the fifth safety we bring on to this 53-man. But aside from Jay Ward, it was awesome to see a blitz like that, okay? I mean, when was the last time we saw that? We sure didn't see it last year. We probably saw Harrison Smith do some of those with Mike Zimmer. I know we did. Anton Winfield did a few of those back in the day too. But yeah, it was awesome to see that. A blitz like that should be exciting. Came and just laid the boom, got the fumble. Awesome to see. You know, aside from the defense, the line didn't look super good. They got ran on quite a bit. Obviously, it's a little hard to judge because, Deion Hunter didn't play, Harrison Phillips didn't play, Marcus Davenport didn't see any action. So, the starters did not play, and it's hard to say, that's going to be bad when those guys are all pretty damn good players in their own right. Ivan Pace Jr. looked really good. He didn't play a third game, so that's a lock for him to make the roster. I'm betting he'll probably start the first game too. It might be him and Asamoah, who are two very athletic linebackers who I like. Jordan Hicks I'm not a big fan of. I think he's a little too slow for this defense. Flores might feel the same way. He might just be a veteran guy if Pace or Asamoah really can't figure it out. It might be Hicks' time to jump in there, but I don't predict him starting much if these two can be even decent at linebacker. Away from the defense, Jaren Hall looked pretty good. Obviously, he struggled with the backup offensive line. That was terrible. But when he got the action with the second teamers, with the combination of the first teamers this last game, he looked good. He's got good pocket presence, I feel like, where he steps up, he avoids the sack, which is something the Vikings don't usually have. Cousins has decent pocket presence, but you're not really worried about him running. Whereas this last preseason game, Hall looked willing to run, which is nice to see. Definitely could be something there. I'm not all in on it. I'm not all against it either. I think with Kevin O'Connell, it's a guy he drafted in order to shape himself. And I think the Vikings not trading for Trey Lance is telling to that. They believe in Hall, at least for a backup, or maybe even the future quarterback. O'Connell thinks he can work with this, or he likes it. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, obviously I'm not happy about them not having offensive linemen. I think that's going to be something they need to get. I would love to see them sign Dalton Risner before the season, or at least after the first week or something. I don't know. The first week's against Tampa. That's a big game. If you lose that game, this season looks a lot different. It's a bit more telling of the team if we can't beat Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, yeah, I'll see you guys back with this series after the first week. But until then, Skol Vikings and stay classy.